What is the difference between Playwright and Cypress? If you're deciding between these two tools for end-to-end testing, this video is going to save you a bunch of research and hopefully save you a couple of headaches too. I'll show you what each one does better, which one gives you more flexibility, and a few reasons why I find one of them frustrating. And near the end, I will tell you the one I bet my career on in 2025, especially if you're working with AI or large-scale apps. Stick around, I'll get to that one near the end. Let's start with control, because in test automation, the fastest way for you to start freaking hating your job is being locked into something that you have no control over. Playwright gives you true control. Playwright just gives you true JavaScript experiences like JavaScript promises, async await, third-party libraries you can use really easily, and you can even switch to Python or C# and use like a Playwright library. So it supports multiple languages as well. Cypress, you're stuck using their weird promise-like thing. There is no async await, so you're always stuck in that old school callback hell that JavaScript used to have. Doing something .then, and then you do stuff and nothing is available outside of that then block. And just that alone can cause you no end of headache. I'll show you a quick example. So I'm gonna jump in here and show you the difference, a simple example that demonstrates that async await promise difference between Cypress and Playwright. So all I'm gonna do is go to a web page and just get the text. That's all. I wanna get the text. So I'm gonna show you the difference right here. So in Cypress, you're gonna get the thing and you have to do invoke text. Well, that's fine. But here you have to save it as navbar text. You notice I am not saving it as a variable. You're not gonna get the text right here directly as a variable return from this call. Instead, you have to save it in this alias. And then if you actually want to see what's in that text, instead of accessing a variable that already has that string, you have to do sci.get, and then you have to reference that alias you put right here, and then you do this .then thing with throwing the text as the context here, and then you can manipulate that text. You can do any logging or whatever you need to do, or regexes, or lowercasing, uppercasing, whatever you need to do with the string, you have to do it within this text. And whatever you do to the string here, if like you changed it, the text, the string at all, it's not going to be available outside of this then statement right here, this the scope. So you can't save anything in here to a variable you can use later. Just not the way it works. Now let's contrast that with Playwright. So here we're going to a web page, and then see right there, we're just doing an await, which is not available. This whole await syntax is not available in Cypress. But here you get the page locator, h1, and instead of invokes, you do text content. It then takes that text content, puts it into the variable heading. And now this variable is available to the rest of this function. It's there for you to use in any way that you like. It's just a string inside a variable. So you don't have to do anything with aliases. You don't have to do anything with promise-like behavior, .then, and no, it's just right there. You can just go ahead and immediately use it. You can do any regex you want. You can do the uppercase, lowercase. You can even change what is in there, and it'll be available for the rest of your function. So that alone, I know this is a very simplistic example. Imagine trying to get the text from quite a few different things, or getting a whole bunch of things that you just want to store in variables that you need, and you can't just go .then. That's what is known as callback hell in JavaScript. And Cypress basically reinvented callback hell after JavaScript have solved it with promises. So, yep, there you go. Yeah, not much else to say about that, but in my opinion, way easier to use this await syntax versus this put it into an alias, and then you have to do this alias, and then do a then go to a function, and then do what you need to do. It just seems silly. Come on, Cypress. I'm sure you can rewrite your stuff to do async await and use real promises. Then I might change some of my opinion, but maybe not. Anyway, I'm just babbling and I'll probably cut out most of that. So let's get back to it. And hey, if you've been feeling boxed in by a rigid framework, flaky tests, download my free guide, the top 5 test automation best practices. Check the link below. It'll help you out. It's pretty cool. Okay, so really, if you've been feeling boxed in by a lot of Cypress's stuff, then try Playwright. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It's wonderful. It's so much easier to use. If you're used to using JavaScript in a particular way, then it's much better. But just wait until I show you what Cypress still does better than Playwright. It's something that can save you quite a bit of time when it comes to debugging. All right, this is where I give Cypress a little bit of love, but even this comes with a caveat. But it's about writing tests faster. Cypress gives you a really good dev experience. I mean, it's really cool. You install it, and it has a nice GUI. It has a whole bunch of stuff that tells you all the network calls as it's running. It does automatically, it's watching your code. So if you change anything in your test, it just starts automatically rerunning the tests. And it's a really slick GUI. It also just, you don't have to worry about getting all the WebDriver stuff in there that you have to do with just straight up Selenium. It just works out of the box, and it gives you don't have to do like the driver in your code itself and setting that all up. It's just there. And so you can just get started writing tests like that. And there's a lot of simple examples just to get started using Cypress, which makes it easy to use and get up and running and quickly. And I think this is why a lot of developers like it. It just gives you that the experience, just like a lot of the JUnit, or I keep calling it JUnit. It's not JUnit, it's Jest. Jest gives you a lot of things where it'll just keep rerunning tests as it's watching your code and restarting it. A lot of their front end stuff, it just restarts things as they make changes to code. So they're used to that type of environment. And Cypress gives that experience that the devs are looking for. I think that's why it's gotten a lot of not only tester support, but developer support because of the way that operates. So if you're just starting out and you just want to get started quickly and get it up and running fast, Cypress is a good choice. It has a lot of stuff that's just contained right in there. And if you want to pay out the money, their cloud infrastructure is really good for seeing your test replays and putting it into your CI/CD. They offer a really good solution with their what's it called, Cypress Cloud. But that being said, when you want to do more, that's when Cypress starts falling behind. And honestly, things get messy fast. And that's what we're going to talk about next. All right, so here's where Cypress just starts hitting a dead end, and Playwright just pulls right ahead. All right, so Playwright does it all. It does multiple tabs, it plays with iframes, it does multiple windows, it does multiple domains. And guess what? A lot of this stuff Cypress does not do. Cypress doesn't play well with iframes. You can get it to work with iframes, but you have to hack it. They just now added in support for using the tab key on your keyboard. That's essential for accessibility testing, and it took Cypress 9 years to get that feature added. It was just added, I saw today. They're just behind the game on so many tools that Playwright out of the box does well. There's a lot of things that you have to open up things in different tabs. Sometimes you have to go to different domains. The last company I worked at, Coil, which went out of business, unfortunately, they had a tool which you can embed in somebody else's web page. So for me to do testing, we couldn't use Cypress because I had to go to a different domain. And once you establish a base URL in Cypress, you can't use different URLs. It's really a really weird limitation. Also, they work weird with iframes. I don't understand what's going on with them. I think their GUI is in an iframe, or GUI is running your app within an iframe, and it doesn't work well. It's just bizarre. But I mean, a lot of things use iframes, even though it's not industry best practice. But if you have like Stripe payment options in your website, which a lot of websites do, it's embedded in an iframe. So like my last company, I had to use that a lot getting into iframes, and it was really frustrating using Cypress. Nothing drives you crazier than when you're stuck with a test tool and you know another test tool can do the job that you need done, and you're just suffering with something that doesn't do what you need it to do. So you can get started with Cypress really easily. Once you're starting to master things, and if you have a complicated website, it can fall down quickly. Let me just show you an example of one thing that Playwright can do really well that Cypress can't do at all, which is just opening up tabs in the browser. So here's an example of doing multiple tabs in Playwright, and this is something that Cypress cannot do. So here we go. I'll just walk through the code, and I'm gonna launch this right now. Got a target Chromium and this one test I have, and I'm gonna run this headed right there. There we go. And I'm gonna pause the test, which is gonna launch up this nifty little debugger. So you can see right here, you got one tab. Let me bump up this bad boy right here so we can actually see everything going on. Cool. So right now we got page 1 is this one. Went to example.com. There we go, example.com. And I paused it, and that's how it broke into this debugger right here. So now I'm going to step over this code. So that's a new page. You can already see new tab. We're already beyond what Cypress can do. Going to go to a different URL, which is also better than what Cypress can do. So now we got 2 different tabs, and there's a lot of other things you can do here. You can check each tab separately and change context, bring each tab front and back, but I'm keeping this simple. But I'm just going to show you that it can close them independently. It's going to close the first one. There you go. And now it's going to close the second one, and we're going to end the test. So if you've ever run into the situation, you're using Cypress and it just says you can't do this in Cypress, try Playwright. Just give it a try, and most likely you can do exactly what you want to do. And if you want to learn even more about what you can do with your test suites, download my free guide, Top 5 Test Automation Best Practices. The link is in the description. So if you're working on anything more than just like the more simple website, and Cypress is fine for simple scenarios, simple websites. If you're working on anything more complex, you can get bogged down on the limitations of Cypress. And honestly, Playwright, it just gives you more power. It gives you more things it can do. And as far as like the good things, the debugging and writing tests quickly, I think Playwright is catching up pretty darn fast. So let's talk about future-proofing. Whenever you start using some type of test automation, you're not going to just be using it right now and forget about it. It's going to possibly be in your organization for years to come and need to be supported, and you need to be adding new tests and new features as the world around you is changing. So what's better for you down the road? I mean, Playwright, it's backed by Microsoft, and it's growing like crazy. Everyone's talking about it. I think a few of the statistics out there, I don't have them handy, but a few statistics out there saying it's actually surpassing Cypress as the most downloaded test automation framework. I mean, Cypress, it's good stuff. It's got some AI stuff it's coming out with, like how to generate tests. It's got some things that can even tell you your UI code coverage from your tests. But those are all like paid add-ons. You have to get Cypress Cloud and pay for any of that stuff. So there's a lot of things that Playwright just comes with out of the box that you don't have to pay extra for. And the thing that really gets me is that you can access Playwright library from different languages, like Python. Python is the language that everybody is using for AI. All the LLM models, all the local LLMs, all the other type of all the cool things I've seen, chatbots and whatnot, you can do with Python. I see every week I'm signed up to this newsletter, and there's multiple projects that are doing very cool things with AI. It's on the front lines of everything with AI. And the fact that you can use Playwright with Python, that sounds like a winner to me. Just a winner. It blows Cypress out of the water just with that alone. Not to mention all the other cool things you can do. And plus, even if you don't want to use Python, the fact that you can use third-party libraries and just very easily put it in your code without doing all these weird workarounds that Cypress has you jump through. And I didn't cover that. Cypress has this weird thing. They don't let you like install packages just randomly and use them in your test code directly. You have to use them through their support thing and use plugins and do all this stuff to make it work correctly in its tasks, is what it's called. And it's really frustrating trying to write those and put those third-party libraries in there and then get it in your code. Playwright out of the box. So I think that's future-proofing right there. So all the new packages come down, even those new packages that have AI tools you want to incorporate into your code, you're going to have trouble doing that with Cypress. You're going to have to write all this weird code to make it work. So just, I think for the long haul, Playwright is going to be the winner. It just gives you so much more flexibility, backed by Microsoft. They even have a UI. I didn't show you the UI. Let me flip over and show you the UI real quick. So here's that same test we were just playing with. Get down here, and I know you probably can't see this, but if I put like --UI, and I really hope you can see this, and this command line right here, --UI actually puts things in like a GUI like Cypress has. So you can even get that GUI experience from Playwright. Boom, here is the GUI experience. And let's play that test. Oops, I still have the pauses in there. And it doesn't work good with the multiple tabs thing. All right, so maybe not, but maybe this wasn't the best of example. However, I mean, if you're doing like non-multi-tab things, this works wonderful. And it does a lot of cool stuff in this UI. I just did not give a very good example, so let me get out of there. But the fact is, it does have a UI that you can use, and I'm sure this is gonna get better, and that multi-tab thing, I'm sure will be fixed in the near future. So honestly, Playwright. If I was to bet my career on that for 2025, Playwright is the way to go. In fact, I'm highly advocating for it in my company. We're using Cypress, and I'm trying to get them to switch over to Playwright. Other people are actually starting to work on it and transfer all our test code over to Playwright. So, I mean, a major company, we're going to do it. That kind of tells you something, right? So if you want a tool that grows with your career, I would say Playwright is the best bet to make. Not that you shouldn't learn Cypress as well. A lot of companies are still using that. It's a good tool to have in your tool belt and to put on your resume. But Playwright is probably going to be the future. So here's the deal. Both of those tools have their strengths and weaknesses. But if you care about control, flexibility, freedom, I think Playwright is where you're going to land. And don't take my word for it. I mean, take some of the tests you have at work and give them both a try. You know, try Cypress, then try to do exactly the same test with Playwright. How do you feel about it? You know, take a complicated example. Or if you're already using Cypress and there are some things you wish you could do, give Playwright a try. We've done some things where we've converted Cypress code over to Playwright, and it wasn't that hard to do. So I encourage you to give it a try. And tell me in the comments, you know, what's your biggest frustrations with Cypress or Playwright, or what did you love about Cypress and love about Playwright? You know, is there a reason that you would stick over Cypress over Playwright? Tell me why I'm wrong, please. I'd love to hear it. And don't forget, if you want to level up your testing skills, download my free guide, Top 5 Test Automation Best Practices. That is down below in the description. There is a link there for you to sign up to my list and get your free download. Well, now that you know the difference between Playwright and Cypress, you might be wondering how to use Cypress to mock data in your applications. How would you do that? It all starts by watching this next video, because when you combine everything you've learned in this video with this one, it's much more powerful. Happy testing, everyone. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.